Hello, what's up YouTube? I wanted to do a deep dive on the acidic concoction. I recently made a build guide on using the acidic concoction to one-shot bosses and using gas arrow and toxic growth along with the unique quiver, the merc shaft for clear. So I see a lot of questions in the comments about the acidic concoction, so I wanted to just kind of like explain this skill more in depth because I kind of just talked about the build overall, but there's a lot of confusion among, I think, about this skill, and I think that's why a lot of people just kind of don't want to use it. It's because it's a little complicated. So it you throw a flask. Right now I'm throwing 5 because I have Nova projectiles on, so it shoots 5 in a circle. Each time it consumes a mana flask charge, 5 of them, and it has a base damage. Now, a lot of people ask, why can't I use a weapon when I use my flask? That's because it's an unarmed skill. It doesn't benefit from your weapon, and you can't be holding a weapon when you throw it. So, whenever you throw it, if you're holding your bow, you'll instantly switch to unarmed to throw it. And let's say you want to use your bow again. Show my character here. I have the little skill window open, but you throw the concoction and then instantly you switch back to your bow. You can see in the inventory here, switching back and forth. So it is an unarmed skill. That's one thing I saw a lot of questions about. Another thing is it does have a base damage. So if we look at the skill window here, you know, as DPS 4K, that's, you know, it is what it is. It's fine. But then the acidic burst is what we're really looking at here. Now, you're not going to see it says 400 damage per second. That's not true. It's actually more like 400,000 damage per second when we consume a full damage poison burst arrow. So the way that acidic burst works is it is an AoE skill, and it causes life loss. Life loss means that it's not scalable. It means that their defenses don't stop it. It's not physical. Armor doesn't apply. They just lose the life instantly. So there's positives to that and there's negatives to that. You can't scale it really in any way other than creating a more powerful poison. And you can also scale that poison with despair and with wither, which I discuss in the build guide. But basically, we're just consuming a poison, and we want the biggest, longest poison we can, which is why we're using Poison Burst Arrow, because Poison Burst Arrow scales off of skill effect duration. So with all the skill effect duration modifiers I have, including this support here and on the tree, it gets up to about 20 seconds. But we also have, let me get rid of this. We also have this here, low tolerance, 60% increase effective poisons you inflict on targets that are not poisoned. So the very first poison you apply will have 60% increased effect, which means 60% increased duration and magnitude. And that's on top of your other duration and magnitude modifiers. So that means that it says it's like 20 seconds, but it's actually probably like more like 25 seconds. And the damage, it says it's like up to 10k per second. It could be more. So we're multiplying, you know, that 10k by that 20 seconds. So that's like 200,000 damage for the whole duration, even on the low end of the poison. And it can be higher with all the different modifiers. Like we have, like I said, we can use despair to lower their chaos resistance. Poison is a chaos damage over time. So it is like wither and despair lower the resistance and increase the chaos damage taken. Withered increases chaos damage taken. So those also increase the poison that's stored on them, and then we consume that with acidic concoction. Now, if you shoot the enemy and then consume it, they'll lose their poison and it'll just deal 1 burst of damage. If we use this little tech with the vine arrow, we shoot the vine arrow glows so you know it's been hit. So now this is poisoned. Now you'll notice that all 5 of my acidic concoctions are exploding on the vine arrow, and that little bubble of AoE that comes off of it, you'll notice it's a little different, like it spreads out. Like that's what it looks like when they just hit the ground. When you are hitting the vine that's poisoned, it it creates this AoE effect, and if the boss is standing right on top of this, they're going to get hit too, all 5 of them, and it creates a shotgun effect where you can hit 400,000 each times 5. It's like almost 2 million damage in one throw, and I can spam it like that. And you know, that's how we're nuking the bosses with that. I can cut in some footage to show a little bit more in depth on a couple bosses as well, but I just wanted to kind of answer that. And a lot of people ask, like, when does this feel strong? It feels strong once you get a decent weapon and you unlock a couple supports on Poison Burst Arrow. It's pretty strong as soon as you get the Acidic Concoction, but you do need some like base damage, and you do need to have your Poison Burst Arrow skill to have like a couple supports to really make it feel powerful. You know, it might take, you know, like it takes me 2 throws to kill most endgame bosses right now. If they're like really high health, maybe like 3 or 4. In the story, it might take you like 10 throws or 8 throws, but it's still gonna do good damage. It depends on your bow, of course, because your poison damage is going to scale off your bow. You want to get a high physical bow, etc. All this stuff is written in the guide, and I added a leveling guide as well. A lot of people are asking, like, how did I level? Because like you can't get Acidic Concoction obviously right off the start, because that is an ascendancy skill. So up until I got Acidic Concoction, I was really mainly using these toxic growths, and then I was shooting Poison Burst at them, and I used Magnified Effect to create a bigger Poison Burst until I had Gas Arrow. And Gas Arrow is just the superior option for bursting these because it has a bigger area of effect. And you can target on the ground. Unfortunately, Poison Burst Arrow cannot target it on the ground. So, you know, you're going to have to get creative. Like, you have to kind of like do some positioning and get on top of the boss and hit him right as he spawns, and then boom, 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 boom. You got that. Same thing, like, if sometimes like a really tough Abyss rare is chasing me, or like a Mana Siphon rare is chasing me, I'll run and I'll like camp behind a wall here, and then right as they turn the corner, I'll like shoot this. And if this will... Oh, this is not collidable terrain. That's why it's happening. So you hit like that, and then right as they turn the corner, boom. I guess this is not collidable. This is fake. This is not a real piece of decor. This is just, my arrow goes right through it. That's hilarious. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to show a little bit more rotations on different kinds of bosses, like bosses that move and stuff like that. So let's cut away to that. Alright, so we got everybody's Act 4 campaign favorite boss here. I just wanted to show off a little bit about, like, if you know the boss's mechanics, it helps with the setup. Always put down the Despair Cursed Ground first. Put down the Vine where you know they're going to be. If you don't know where they're going to be, put down the Cursed Ground and then wait to put the Vine. Now, here's an example of what happens when you don't position very well, because positioning is very important. So here, I kind of fumbled. I did 6 million damage and got one-shotted. I should have waited for him to move and just been patient, but I tried to burst him down in one spot. This is a good example. Like, I waited for him to move. He stopped moving for a minute, and then I jumped on him. I should have done that with the Crux of Nothing. Learn from my mistakes, and have a great day, guys.